spaces, things exist. And the lines that form the network of your mind. Behind the retinas of imagination are the particles and peripherals that made you who you are. Turn off, shut your eyes, and listen to dispatches from outside the box.
All right. But before we get started, tell me, what do you see? You see a rabbit or a duck?
Wow, that's a good one. I actually saw a duck first.
You see a duck? Well, you should see a duck, right?
Now I see the rabbit, though. That's freaky.
Is that what you say, rabbit or a duck?
Oh, it's a rabbit.
It's a rabbit? Mitch?
I did see the duck first, but now I see the rabbit.
Right.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, for those seeing a rabbit, tonight's dispatches may just flip your perceptions. From Dick Lundy and Carl Barks to Tex Avery and Bob Clampett, from Mel Blanc to Jim Cummings, the duck has tickled our Saturday morning psyche for generations, at least as long as I can remember. But what is it about this waterfowl that we want to see as suave superheroes, adventuring tycoons, and even salty sailors? That's what we aim to find out right here tonight. I'm C Michael Lanning, independent artist, mad scribbler, and of course, dispatch panelist, throwing these feathery questions your way and get the consensus on why we love the duck. So let's meet our panelists, starting with ruckus raising Randy Zimmerman.
Ruckus
Mr.
raising.
Zimmerman.
Funny. We all love to duck. Don't
Yeah.
let us fool you. Hey, everybody, I'm Randy Zimmerman. I am a longtime alternative and independent comics creator, publisher. I've done everything in the independent and alternative market that you can imagine. Ran conventions for 10 years, retailed for over a decade, all sorts of stuff, just because I love comics, love this business. Started back with Arrow Comics and Massive Comics, doing a book called Tales from the Universe that has a duck. Right there, it's Ganda. She's a barbarian drinking duck that hangs around with mischievous and hunts bounties. So,
All right, awesome. And then our other panelist, meek but not always mild, Mitch Rogers.
Hello. I'm Mitch Rogers. I'm a independent horror comic writer and artist, creator of the Boger horror comic book series that you can find online in the Flesh and Blood collection.
All right. And of course, we have our guest panelist tonight. He comes with his own nickname, George the Dreamer Medina. Go ahead, George, introduce yourself, man.
What's going on, everyone? I'm George Medina. I am a creator, writer of a book called The Adventures of Wonder Duck that is currently on Kickstarter. I'm also one half of the podcast Catch the Craze that goes on pretty much every Friday. We have a new show. We also have a live show that we do on Thursday mornings called The Morning Brew with the Crazy Crew. And guys, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. It's great having you, man. You're one of the first people I asked to come on the show.
You
So
did,
it's been,
Mike.
and that's a
Thank
few
you.
months ago. So
That
you
was
made
a
the
while
comment
ago.
just right.
Yeah.
So George, what is it about the duck? What's the fascination with ducks?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, we were talking offline before we came on, but I was a huge fan of the Disney Afternoon back in like the late 80s, early 90s. And so, before Darkwing Duck, for me, there was DuckTales.
DuckTales, yeah.
And I don't know. It was something about drawing the beak. I used to draw. I love drawing the beak. The way Disney used to draw it.
Yeah.
And so I got so comfortable doing that just about every character that I wanted to create at the time had a beak. So I had like this, it was the 90s. So it was like baggy clothes, baggy jeans. So I had this thugged out, duck that I wrote stories about. Then I started, then again, I was watching the Disney Afternoon and there was this one character, Gizmo Duck. Within the whole story. And I was like, dude, I want to create my own superhero duck. And so I created Wonder Duck. And I took the wheel off. I kept the helmet. I gave him a cape, but it still looked exactly like freaking Gizmo Duck. It was hardly any different. And then I just started tweaking it. And as the story evolved from the 90s all the way to today, you see what he looks like now. But in the Kickstarter, the campaign that I have now, there are, just drawings from when I first created the character some behind the scenes stuff that's really cool within this book that I'm promoting. But yeah, it was the beak. The beak did it for me, bro. I just like to draw the beak.
I concur. That's why I used to get me in trouble because you had the Disney Afternoon, the Disney Adventures. They used to come in a little digest form, and I'd be sitting there in class drawing, the ducks. That was always I gravitated to the ducks.
Yeah.
But Mitch, were you a duck person?
Not so much like the Disney stuff, but my favorite Looney Tunes character has always been Daffy.
Daffy.
He primarily because he was created by Tex Avery, who's one of my favorite animation directors. He's also off the top of my head the only Looney Tunes character that has really evolved over time. Because he started off as like this zany, crazy duck.
Yeah.
Then over time, especially under Chuck Jones, he became this self-centered, narcissistic asshole.
Yeah.
that just made some great cartoons with him.
That is true.
One of the best things in cinema is the duck on duck fight in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
yes, that was good.
So, Zim, I know you had some duck experience.
Well, it's been a long time since I've seen Roger Rabbit, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I cut my teeth on all the Carl Barks reprint books. In fact, the Tales from the Aniverse book I showed earlier wouldn't have been around if it wasn't for Carl Barks. And actually, I saw it first in a Walt Disney Comics Digest that I was sick one week, and my dad ended up bringing it home for me just so I'd be quiet and lay in bed, and had the Uncle Scrooge story in it, the 24-karat moon. That was great. It was about there being a moon. They find a moon of solid gold on the other side of the moon where we hadn't been before or seen before. So whoever got there first could claim it. So, of course, Uncle Scrooge had to have it because he's greedy and he needs all the money. So he builds a rocket ship to go out there. Well, the Beagle Boys build a rocket ship to go out there, and 3 or 4 other people build rocket ships to go out there. And then there's a big space race, big space fight as they get out to that moon. And they get to the moon, and there's somebody already there. There's a guy there who's already proclaimed himself king that is there on the moon, running the moon. So they ask him if there's anything that he would do to buy or that if Scrooge could buy or trade it. And Donald, in order to get him in the ship in the first place to get off of the planet, wouldn't leave unless he was somehow grounded. So the kids, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, all run out and build a box and throw a bunch of dirt in it and have Donald stick his feet in it as they blast off in order to try to keep him calm because he was freaking out for going out in space. Well, the guy on the golden moon goes, I'd give anything. I'd give this entire moon up to somebody just for a handful of dirt. And Uncle Scrooge perks up and goes, dirt? Really? I'll be right back. He goes, runs into the rocket ship, comes back with the box. Says, here you go. And the guy goes, okay, thanks. The moon's yours. And Scrooge is all happy until the guy pulls up a machine, takes a handful of that dirt and puts it on top of the machine and ends up building his own world. Takes a little while, and as the world is building, it's making vegetation and creating an atmosphere and all of this. And eventually he takes the machine, hops on the world, and takes off. you know, and in the end, they're all the kids are all out there building stuff out of gold, like snowmen and stuff.
Yeah,
They build
right.
a picture of Uncle Scrooge and put a crown, or mold a crown on it. And Scrooge is watching that planet take off, and he walks over to that statue and knocks the crown off of it. And the kids are going, "What's wrong, Uncle? Why are you so down? That's you've got a 24-karat moon. You've got more money than you'll ever know what to do with." And Scrooge is looking at that world and he goes, "Yeah, but I can't help thinking that I got the shaft in the deal."
Oh man,
It's just a great story, but that really got my mind thinking about using funny animals in space, combining the two things that I really liked at the time. Funny animals, science fiction, put them together. So it started talking about putting characters out into space. I created the JB Space character initially as a lark against a previous employer. And he's actually a special delivery dog who thinks he's Han Solo, but he's actually Goofy. He's got a first person narration where he talks about how heroic he is. And in reality, he's just a bumbling idiot. But ducks absolutely had to be part of the Aniverse. We called it Tales from the Aniverse and blended Animal Universe and stuck it together and just called it Aniverse and ran all these. Cool. Soon we were creating all sorts of different characters for it. And of course there were ducks and birds and stuff to go along with that. We had also had an evil pirate guy.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
That we patterned. It's got a scar, got a patch, and got a peg leg called Drake Star.
Drake Star. But see, there's that beak, man. Like that.
There's that beak. Yeah,
I love drawing that thing. That was the reason why I even came up with that character, because I just wanted to see that done. That looks great. I love that.
Thanks. That and when I'm after school up until the coof hit, I was teaching cartooning after school to kids, mostly latchkey kids, and we'd sit there and draw different cartoon characters, because the way I learned how to draw is breaking everything down into basic shapes and building it one on top of another. So, SpongeBob's just a large square with a little bit of dimension to it and some lines through it, a couple circles, and suddenly the kids are cartooning, Well, at the end, at the last class of every session that we do, I show cartoons and animation. We talk about animation and cartoons. I pull up a couple of books that have character sheets on it. But one of the favorite cartoons that I love showing the kids is Duck Amuck from the old Looney Tunes with Daffy Duck. As Daffy Duck goes through all of these animation situations, goes through a soundtrack, goes through this pencil stage, has a giant pencil eraser come down and add stuff and subtract stuff and send them into different backgrounds and that kind of thing. They talk about the sound and the sound editing and all of that. And then at the end, it turns out that the guy with the pencil is actually Bugs Bunny at an animation table.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the camera pulls back and he's at an actual a photograph of there's a scene from it. There's an actual animation table there, and he turns to the audience and goes, "Ain't I a stinker?" After he's driven Daffy insane, just driven him totally crazy.
That's funny. That outfit looks a lot like the Darkwing Duck outfit, doesn't it?
It's a
lot. Yeah,
it actually does a lot.
Nothing gets created in a vacuum. Everything's something else.
Absolutely. You'll find a lot of that is not stolen, but swiped or homaged here and there. So
Joe from
the Bucky.
So who's a fan of Dead-Eyed Duck from Bucky O'Hare? Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about Bucky O'Hare.
Nobody's a fan of Bucky O'Hare.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't even thought about that in years.
Because every time I think of that, I think of the bunny from Star Wars.
Bucky actually got an animated series. Oh, the bunny from Star Wars?
Yeah, I can't.
Was that Obi-Don? No, not Obi-Don Quixote. I don't even remember what the duck's name was.
Yeah,
I can't remember it either.
Oh wow, look at this.
Look,
there he is, Michael Golden. What a great artist.
Went out of his way and added 2 extra arms. Who would have thought a 4-armed duck? It didn't catch on, but man, maybe it should have.
He's a mutant. Anyway, there he is, animated.
Yep.
Kind of looks more like Daffy than he does Donald.
Yeah,
he does.
I think it comes to a point where that's just going to be. It's going to come from one of those 2 places. It's either going to be. It's going to be
Daffy or Donald.
Daffy or Donald. Yeah.
I don't know. There's been a lot of ducks through the years.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
not just
Sure.
Dead-Eyed Duck, you know.
That's,
Well, you showed it in your thing. There was Count Duckula. Remember Count Duckula?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be
Count
honest with
Ducky.
you. I remember the cartoon, but I did not realize that he was a villain to Danger Mouse.
Oh
I think,
yeah,
was it
that's
Danger
right.
Mouse or was it?
Yeah, it was.
Secret Squirrel?
It was
It's
done by the
Danger
same
Mouse.
crew that did Danger Mouse. I think he had 1 or 2 seasons of cartoons on his own though, too,
Yeah,
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah,
Oh yeah. It was back
Duckula.
in the 80s. Duckula.
yeah.
So,
Duckula.
to the point where they ended up having to substitute blood for ketchup, so he became
Yeah.
a vegetarian.
Back when I was doing Arrow Comics, we printed a story by Josh Ellingson of Ninja Duck.
Mm,
So, and I'm sure there's been a number of Ninja Ducks out there at one time or another.
yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, it's great when I was trying. So when I created the Wonder Duck character, I tried to copyright it, and I couldn't. They wouldn't allow me to copyright the Wonder Duck by itself.
Really?
So I had to add the adventures of Wonder Duck, and that's the only way they gave it to me. Because apparently, I think it's like a 1949 or 1950 comic by I want to say maybe Marvel or something, published called Wonder Duck. So it wasn't a
no.
superhero; it was just a regular. It was just adventures of like a duck called Wonder Duck. But so I couldn't get the copyright, so I had to add the adventures of. So wherever I post anything I post, I had to put the adventures of Wonder Duck as part of my copyright. Yeah,
Oh yeah, there is a Wonder Duck. Let's see who did it.
yeah. I think it was like Vital Publications or something like that, or it has
Wonder
like
Duck
Marvel
could
on
be-
the on one of the images, but I couldn't. I was trying to figure out. Who
Oh
the
no,
hell
it does.
published
Yeah, it says it's a Marvel
It
comic.
says Marvel, right? Yeah. 1950, 1940, 1950. But I'm like, is Marvel even around
Really?
back then?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, Marvel was playing
Probably.
with with names back during that time, because the distributor, the guys who run the distributors were connected to national periodicals,
Okay.
and they only allowed Marvel to have 6 titles out there on the stands at one time. So Marvel did Timely, Marvel did Atlas, and then eventually just settled with Marvel.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Once the Fantastic Four came out and the distribution rules started lightening up as the other comic publishers were dropping off in the 50s,
Right.
because they couldn't stay afloat, mainly because of the Comic Code Authority, and they got regulated to that spiral rack. That spiral rack's only got so many slots. So
True.
Right. Yeah, but he's nothing like your character.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Look,
I
I
got
look up.
I got a picture of him here. If you let me Bing it here so I can get a clearer picture. There's been at least 3 or 4 books of him out.
The
Yeah,
good
but
thing about you look it up and your book comes up.
It does. Yeah.
1949.
I was happy about that. I was like,
Yeah,
all right,
right.
cool. I'm second. All right, fine. I'll take it. But yeah, it's funny because I couldn't do anything with it until I added the adventures of. They wouldn't let me. The copyright office was like, nah.
There's no way that you could find something that isn't used
Right.
somehow, some
You
way.
have to, somehow you have to tweak it or something. You got to do something different to it or something.
See, and it's a property that Marvel probably doesn't even realize they have.
Probably not.
Yeah, true. That is so true. It's funny you mentioned Bing, because I'm watching your show and freaking,
So
Stone talk about Bing. Now I Bing not that I Bing everything, but when I'm looking for an image, I go to Bing rather than Google. Like I've done it now. I'm like,
we need sponsorship. That's what we
yeah,
need.
seriously, you guys need you guys need a sponsorship for that, man.
Hey, Microsoft, hey, over here. We know you're listening. That's all it is to it.
Yeah.
But so Wonder Duck, but he wasn't anything like Howard.
Oh, Howard the Duck. Wow, yeah.
Now I remember this when the movie came out years and years ago.
Oh God.
The movie came out and it was almost like oh, don't look at that. I think I was 8 years old when the movie came out. So it's got duck breast in it. It's like what?
There's
Yeah, there it is.
there's a copy of Wonder Duck. He's got a flat bill.
Yeah.
I'm sure at the time they were trying to stay as far away from Donald as possible.
That's
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah, that's right.
But yet still trying to capitalize on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How many? There were 4 issues, you said?
3, I think I
3?
see. Yeah. Let me zap back here. I see 3.
Yeah. I was like, damn, who the hell is this Duck, man? Who's this Wonder Duck? Let me check this shit out. And I saw some of those images. I was like, oh, okay, this is what it is. And then there's Wonder Duck, it's like a duck calling toy too, called Wonder Duck.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
what popped up first.
Decoy or some shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wonder Duck decoys.
Yeah.
And there's Super Duck, Howard the Duck, Darkwing Duck. There's Wonder Duck. What your Wonder Duck?
There it is.
It pops right up on the top line of
all right, Google.
Bing image search.
So look at that.
Yeah, it's over on Bing.
All right.
So what was Steve Gerber's idea? Why Howard the Duck, Ray?
Yeah.
Well, you have to understand back at the time that Howard was created that how can I put this nicely? The drugs were really good back then. And there was a little bit of hallucinogens floating around at the office, and there was some crazy stuff going on. And Gerber, God rest his soul, was an amazing writer, very imaginative writer. And he made it a point to try to pull the most absurd things that you can imagine up into his work. He gets bored writing the Defenders team at the time, which is Hulk, Doctor Strange, and Submariner with Nightwing and Valkyrie. And he has to come up with one page. He's got to fill a page. He can't come up with anything. So he let's use an elf with a gun that just kills people. So the next 5 or 6 stories after that, there's a 1-pager or a 2-pager in there where something happens, and it turns out there's an elf with a gun that shoots. And when he fires the gun, the scene ends and they go back to what they were doing before. And it took him a few years to pay that off because Gerber left the title before he could make anything up to fit into that. Well, he's doing Man-Thing. He's working on Man-Thing, Giant-Size Man-Thing, I think it is. And they're traveling through dimensions. Said. Yes, that the most adult title that Marvel has ever printed.
Man-Thing.
No, not just Man-Thing. Giant-Size Man-Thing.
Giant-Size Man-Thing.
Giant-Size Man-Thing. And they're traveling between universes in the multiverse, and there's a barbarian running around and a Red Sonja type, if I remember right, and a Man-Thing running through, and Man-Thing's not speaking, so you got to come up with people who'll talk because Man-Thing doesn't say anything. So out of the bushes comes walking Howard. Hey, what the hell's going on? So of course he couldn't keep Howard there for very long. Okay. So towards the end of that issue, he has him step off an interdimensional bridge and fall, presumably to his death.
Yeah, just out of just void.
Wow,
that's it for Howard.
There he goes. Yeah, that's it for Howard. He's done.
Yeah.
Well, the fans loved it. And the fans kept writing into Marvel going, that Howard character was really cool. Why don't you do something with Howard? Do something with Howard. When are you going to do something? So a couple issues of Giant-Size Man-Thing later, they have a one-shot with Howard. And he ends up fighting a vampire cow, I believe.
Yes.
Then there's another story where that involves a frog, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Then they decide then they decide to try him out in his own title. Huh. And then again, because this distribution situation is so crazy, they fumbled with the first issue. They underprinted it and they underdistributed it. So to find the first issue of Howard the Duck when it first came out was quest. And I ended up getting my copy when we were on vacation about 2 months after the book had come out, up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in a state park convenience store that had a spiral rack and it was tucked to the back. And I'm going through the rack because I'm bored on these vacations. So I'm going through the spiral racks. Found a lot of great comics while I was on vacation. The family would take off for 2 weeks to get away from home. And we never left Michigan, but every state park had a convenience store that had one of these spiral racks on it. We'd be going through. I read Silver Surfer, I think it was number 18, whatever the last one was. That was drawn by Kirby, where he meets the Inhumans. Just blew my mind. Absolutely blew. But anyway, I found one copy of Howard the Duck sitting in the back of one of those spiral racks. I just picked it up and snatched it right there. I said, oh, man. Awesome. And at the time, I wasn't even that deep I was a kid. I wasn't that far into collecting. Mm-hmm. But I knew from what I had read and what I had read in like the Comics Buyer's Guide and that the book had been underprinted and underdistributed. Wow. And that there were a lot of retailers out there already asking high prices for it. So I got it, But
do you still have it, Zim? Do you still
yes,
have it?
I do. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Heck
nice.
Yeah, I do. But I got long boxes of stuff. Anyway, My wife
Oh, yeah.
has more long boxes than I do, because I started trading all my long boxes for these EC hardcover volumes that Russ Cochran was printing out. And Russ did a lot of really great, did the entire Carl Barks library, all the Donald Ducks, all the Uncle Scrooges are in black and white hardback form, nice, beautiful paper, oversized. I don't have one handy here, but I could probably get it in a hurry. But yeah, I've got 3 of those editions, 3 of those box sets. Each box set had 3 large books. Each book had, I think it was 6 to 12 issues per book in it. Just beautiful, beautifully done books. But he did all of the EC volume. Then he did the Barks volume, all of the original EC run, the Vault of Horror. And he ended up doing all of the EC books eventually in hardcover like that. Then he did the Carl Barks, and he did Little Lulu as well in box sets.
Cool.
I was just, and the Little Lulus are like impossible to find.
Yeah,
That's another story.
sure. Yeah.
But all of that great Barks stuff, if you haven't read those Barks stories, and it's difficult anymore to find them because they're not reprinted on a regular basis like they used to be, like they should be.
Yeah.
Because all of that material is evergreen. You can't really go wrong with a Donald Duck or an Uncle Scrooge story anyway, because they always kept a close tab on who was working on it and what they were doing. Don Rosa did a long run on the Ducks and did an incredibly good job. And a lot of those Barks stories ended up as DuckTales stories. They took those stories and just adapted them straight out, just like the Tales from the Crypt story or the series that was on HBO. Most of them are adapted from the short stories in the comics. Most all of the DuckTales are, and then they added the aviator guy, the aviator duck.
Launchpad McQuack. Yeah.
Launchpad McQuack. And you know, they changed it around for the modern audience or whatever they had to do. I'm not sure about the new reversion of DuckTales, the one that has David Tennant doing Uncle Scrooge.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how close those are to Carl Barks' stuff, because I haven't seen very many of them.
No, in modern Disney, probably not.
Probably they're not. Probably all PC'd over, and you know, hey kids, let's do this. Yeah,
I know. You know, I was watching one of the episodes on Disney Plus, and I was like floored by you know, just that warning that they have of like how it can offend if it offends anybody. I was watching. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was the episode where they go and they find the sun god in Peru, I think they go or whatever. But I guess
that was the movie, huh? Was it the?
They turned it. It was like one of the first. Yeah,
that's a very famous Barks story.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a warning because they felt like, or maybe I'm thinking that they felt like some of the natives were maybe a little offensive to the you know, the population in that era at the time, which. As a kid, I didn't even think about that being, you know, I'm Hispanic, and like they're like in Spain, or I don't know where they are. They're like in some kind of, and I didn't find it offensive. I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, oh, you know what I mean? At that point, I was like, oh wow, they kind of look like me. Not that I look like a dog, but I'm just saying, like, I was like, cool, you know, like representation, baby. And I didn't give a shit about that. And now there's like this warning about, hey, you know, if you don't get offended. What I'm like. I'm gonna get off. It's a fucking cartoon, bro.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
DuckTales.
That's crazy.
What a lot of folks don't realize, or especially modern folks can't understand, comics are based on pictures, on icons, and a lot of icons are very stereotypical. You have to be able to look at it, instantly recognize what it is. So an African American person back in the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, even 20s. Because it really started, the stereotype really kicked off in vaudeville, is very, very stereotyped. Same thing with Asians, same thing with you know, Latinas. All of that are very. There's a set stereotype so that when you look at it, you know what it is. You know that guy is from an African tribe because he's got a bone in his nose, or there's a bone in their hair, you know, they have a bush pair of pants on, or tunic on, or whatever. Or tunic skin or whatever. You know, and the large lips and all of that. And it's taken us decades to become more sensitive to other cultures in that. But in the meantime, all of these guys, these masters, I would say, on comic book art, all had to deal with and never were that empathetic towards that kind of stereotype in those contexts. That's why you get Ebony in The Spirit with the large lips, but he's written as an actual human being instead of a step and fetch it type stereotype, because Eisner knew people of African American descent and knew how they spoke. Well, and that's, you know, and didn't want the character to be cartoony and witless. But doing funny animals like that is a great way of getting past those kinds of nasty stereotypes and telling stories of ethnic diversity in the animal world. Yeah, that's what we always looked at Tales from the Aniverse from. We had all of these different races up there, and the ducks were a large part of the avian race.
Oh, that would make sense, right?
Yeah, they fly.
Well, they didn't really fly in the Aniverse unless they jumped into a spaceship. They were humanoid and anthropomorphic, but you know, and it's the same way. You get the duck and the quack sounds angry and frustrating sometimes, and that's where Donald's personality comes from. You know,
it
comes from all that quacking.
Joe says you need to watch the episodes with the
exactly
right. You need to watch the episodes with the advantage.
Now you've called the
He's
dog.
like, what is that?
You love me. You really.
Well, this is not a duck, but
no.
Joe over here says you need to watch the episodes with the invasion from the moon. The new DuckTales is pretty cool.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
I'll tell you what, I didn't really get into the DuckTales, but I was pleased with what they did with Darkwing to an extent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know that over in Italy, they've got the Duck Avenger that IDW has printed over here. That's Donald Duck as a superhero.
Oh yeah,
really?
Okay. Just came across.
And there's been a number. IDW's printed a number of those issues, and a lot of them, if you look at your better retailers, let's put it that way, who had enough sense to buy the thing and buy those books and haven't been able to sell them. They're pretty thick books because they're originally out as graphic albums. Because over in Italy, their way of doing comics is usually paperback and in square bound paperbacks. Oh, cool. Now, there he is there, the Duck Avenger.
Yeah.
So who was first, Duck Avenger or
Oh no, Darkwing was first. Yeah. Duck Avenger is kind of a new invention.
Oh, okay, because I was wondering he wasn't like you had
shall
Duck
we say
Rogers.
a newer invention.
Well, you got Duck Rogers though.
Duck Dodgers,
Duck Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's what
Duck Dodgers of the 24th and 1/2 century.
Yeah.
Looking for Planet X. How do you find Planet X? Where you look at all the other planets that have letters on them, and you keep going until you hit the one that says X. Yeah. Just classic stuff.
Oh yeah.
Those are cool covers though. Holy shit.
And you can catch those DuckTales over on Disney Plus. You can see most of those Looney Tunes over on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So there he is with Martin the Martian. Yeah.
Martin the Martian, man. These are just
there was no
characters.
kaboom. There was supposed to be a great big kaboom.
Right. One of the few Looney Tune characters that ran around in a tutu. Yeah.
All right.
And tennis shoes.
Hey, he pulled it off. You got
he pulled it off very well. Yep.
Yes, he did.
But and and I guess that would kind of be your first. I guess he wasn't really a superhero per se, but
Duck Dodgers was a parody of Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
That's because a lot of those, it's so easy to take the icons and excuse the pun, duck them up. You know, there's all sorts of anthropomorphic, parodies of different characters. The Destroyer Duck by that Gerber and Kirby did way back when. It's there's Mickey Rhoden right there.
Mickey Rhoden.
Well, we were talking about this beforehand. You go ahead and tell them what this is, because I did not realize how closely Mad mimicked this. I don't know how.
If you ever get a chance to see the first 24 issues of Mad magazine, it was actually a comic book. And each comic of Mad was split up into 3 or 4 stories. I think it was 4 stories. Each story parodied a popular icon of the day. And this is the story of Mickey Rhoden. And it was of Mickey Mouse. I think that they might have gotten a cease and desist from this. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they got They got one from the Archie parody that they ended up doing. But this is really funny, and the characters look like these characters.
Exactly.
Who did the artwork on that? Wally Wood, I
You would
think.
never pull that off today. Not even for a second.
No.
Oh, you might have, but you couldn't do it for very long.
No, not very long at all.
Well, Dan O'Neill had that Air Pirates comic.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Then you get into an Air Pirate
sued
situation.
into oblivion.
Yes,
practically
literally
over it.
Almost physically.
Jeez.
Everybody that worked on that title, Disney decided that they were not going to allow them to work ever, anywhere, ever again. And it wasn't quite Disney as much as the people that did the work. There was one or two guys there that wanted to take this all the way through because they felt they had done a parody or a satire, and Disney said it was copyright infringement. And they kept losing, usually for bizarre reasons. And there's been books written about the Air Pirate situation too. But this particular strip is really funny because Mickey Rhoden in there is talking to Darnold Duck. I believe it's Darnold.
Darnold,
yeah,
D-A-R-N.
Darnold, D-A-R-N-O.
Darnold.
Wow.
and he would yell at him all the way through the strip. Hey, Darnold Duck, and then he'd get hit. Boom.
I see. Wow.
I mean, it's
and then the next panel has him coming up. Darnold, I told you to duck.
I love this done by Walt Disney.
Walt Disney, yeah. Oh, they took everybody. They took liberties and shots at everybody. That's what made Mad such the big seller that it was, so that once the Code Authority came in and Gaines was so pissed off at the system and having to stick on that rack again, that he started doing magazines. So he tried to do shock suspense stories or a few serious magazines, and nothing really hit. And then he did Mad, and it was a huge success as a magazine. So he just kept Mad going and went out, and Gaines always had this great propensity for finding the best talent out there. So you've got somebody, I think that's Wally Wood there, like Wally Wood, who could sit there and ape Carl Barks style to a T and get away with something like that. But that story is very classic. Again, if you get a chance to read those early Mads, it's the first 24. I think that's in the first couple of them that's from. It's a very classic story. But they picked on. They didn't just pick on cartoons. They picked on comic strips, movies, anything that was out there in the popular, in pop culture at the time. They did a parody on it.
I think, of course,
a lot of properties you never even heard of today, like Smilin' Jack. They did Smilin' Melvin. They did Melvin of the Apes instead of Tarzan of the Apes.
Melvin of the Apes. That's funny.
So
from the Uka, and the tribe there was the Ukabunga Kungaluis. That was the tribe that Tarzan was dealing with.
Jeez.
Unforgettable. That's why I can remember.
Yeah.
There's Howard.
So Howard, so this comes out, and of course it's considered a flop. This was actually the first, believe it or not, the novelization of this is the first book I ever completed reading when I was a kid.
Because you had to figure out what the hell was going on. No, so you read the novelization.
Yeah, but of course, so it says here that they wanted a big blockbuster. And so so George Lucas is like, okay, well, we'll use a short person, put him in a costume, use the puppetry, and we have a blockbuster. It wasn't a blockbuster.
And again, if you got a little bit of time to waste, I'm pretty sure that's on Disney Plus as well. Am I wrong? Is it up there?
And it's about a 2-hour movie. It's right up there with any other Marvel movie. We're just waiting for them to finally go ahead and include this in to some multiverse thing.
Well, he was in the back of Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's right.
They refuse to do anything with them. I don't get it.
And they had Seth Green doing the voice on him too. He was in Endgame as well. He came through one of those portals. You just had to look as all these other characters compiling through. I guess he came through with a machine gun.
Well, he was also. They did a What If episode too. Where
was he?
Oh yeah.
I don't like Seth Green as the voice of Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
No, I'm not wild about it at all.
That's not the voice I heard in my head while I was reading those books. That's for sure.
No, it was. But yeah, Kevin Smith was going. They were going to do an animated series about Howard the Duck, led by Kevin Smith, which I don't know. I don't know how well he knows Howard the Duck. So,
Well, he's retails. He's got a retail shop. He should know what these properties are. But then again, I stopped pitching to Marvel when the editor looked at me at one of my proposals and said, "Do we actually own this character?"
Shit.
No, or yes, of course you do. I said, I just looked at him. I said, "Yeah, you own it," and I think I'm done.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So, but when you watch it, having seen this movie for years and then reading the comics, it's funny because they did include certain things from the comics in the movie, like the reason why he's there, the Overlord, whatever the case is. That happened,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the girls, I can't remember if it was Beverly or one of her bandmates or whatever, made the statement that in Cleveland we don't have wizards, which was straight out of the comic, which I thought was funny. It was interesting. So I think it was. I'd like to believe it was made with love.
Well, it's very difficult to transfer Gerber, Steve Gerber. Steve, I think, wrote the majority of the first run, and I'm pretty sure he wrote some of the black and white magazines. I'm not quite sure. The black and white magazine didn't last very long, but it was really, really pretty. It was a really good product. But you have to understand Gerber's sense of satire and parody, and it's just his sense for the absurd, in order to really appreciate Howard. That it carried on for, I think, 20 regular issues.
Yeah, like 20.
And the big one I remember is number 3, which had Howard as the master of Quack Fu.
The master of Quack Fu.
Oh
you see him go and learn Quack Fu.
Quack Fu.
And it has him in Shang-Chi's pajama outfit on the cover.
Oh, shoot.
His red and yellow pajamas that he was in. Yeah. That's in the Essentials book. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's over here. It's
I think that's got the giant-sized Man-Thing stories and the two backup stories that I believe Frank Brunner did, and you don't see much really good Frank Brunner artwork out there. He did the first he did that in the first couple of issues of Doctor Strange once they gave him his regular title.
Huh.
Yeah, I think Frank did the Hell Cow.
Then he went over and did Warp for First Comics. And he did a lot of fanzine work before he got into Marvel. So just a really gifted, great artist. He did he did a lot of work for Star Reach, because I remember him doing a pirate duck as a poster, that painted poster. Because Barks in his later years did a series of paintings off of the covers and off of a lot of the stories that he did. He'd do them for private collectors so that Disney couldn't quite come in and
take some of that money.
Yeah, and take some of his money.
Yeah.
But his paintings now are incredibly rare, and you never see them up for auction, or I haven't seen one up for auction in a long time. Not that I pay attention to auctions very much, but they are phenomenal paintings. Anyway, Brunner did one of a pirate duck. And in, I believe it was Star Reach, I think they even had an anthropomorphic comic for a while called Quack.
Jeez, dude.
There he is.
Wow.
Master of Quack Fu.
Quack
and the artwork on this, for something that's, I don't want to call him a throwaway character because I love Howard, but I mean, this is John Buscema.
Well, through the giant size Man-Thing stories, awesome. That's how he got his own title, because everybody just loved the character. So they said, well, Steve, I guess you're going to have to do a regular book. So he did a book for 20 issues and kept it up for as long as he could. And then that kind of absurd parody and just quirky humor like that usually only goes so far.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
That whole book is black and white, Mike?
Yeah,
the Essentials book is
they are, but they were printed in color, weren't they?
Yeah, the first 20 are in color. Then there's a series of black and white magazines. I think they lasted 6 or 7 issues.
Gotcha.
And there were some great stories in that as well.
Marvel did like black and white magazines for some of their characters, like Howard the Duck. The Punisher had one. I think Man-Thing also had one.
Well, Punisher was in Marvel's Super Action. They were trying him out because he was in. They gave him a one shot in Spider-Man 129, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And again, reader reaction on that. Everything that Marvel has done, every title that Marvel has done, or at least used to do up through the 90s and early 2000s, were all accidents. Everything was just luck. They draw or do something, throw it at the wall, see if it would stick. And sometimes it stuck and sometimes it didn't. Beware the Cat. It's a good example. Lasted 6 issues, disappeared. And they brought her back later and labeled her Hellcat and put her in the Defenders. Howard the Duck lasted for 20 issues. That's a pretty good run considering it's a humor book. Because they had done books like Spoof and Not Brand Ec, and they even had their own Mad parody for a while called Crazy that lasted for a number of years. That they were lucky to keep that up. But that's back when Mad was at its height and was really selling the hell off the newsstand. But Howard's always been a unique character. And that, from what I understand, urban legend might be just urban legend, that they got into a lot of discussions with Disney with the character. Disney was pretty upset at Howard. So he'd come and go, or they figured it wasn't worth the hassle, or Disney would threaten him with a cease and desist or whatever. So eventually they had to put pants on him in order to distinguish him away from Donald.
What, the suit and cigar wasn't enough?
No. Apparently not.
Right. But the poor thing about Howard was actually kind of suicidal at times. Like,
Yeah.
he was like, you know what? I can't take this world. I'm just going to end it.
Well, a lot of times he had the same. He, if I remember him right, he had kind of the same attitude as Wolverine did, kind of an FU attitude.
To an extent, but he was plagued by the fact that he's stuck in this whole world full of humans, and this is early on. I'm sure it developed because
hairless apes.
Yeah, he started getting.
They weren't
pissed
humans;
off.
they were hairless apes.
That's how he learned quack fu. Was because there was a whole bunch of teenagers. They were acting up outside of a kung fu movie they'd just come to see, and a real master came in and beat one of the kids up or whatever, and Howard was pissed off about that. So he went and learned quack fu so he could go and fight the guy. So it's just crazy stuff like that, like the financial credit wizard who had his tower made out of credit cards. It's just great.
He tried to run for president once as well. Howard the Duck for president.
That's funny, man.
I also remember a guy who had a bell instead of a head, and I think they called him the Dong.
The Dong. Wow.
Let's see.
I'm not sure about that. It's in your essentials book.
Yeah, I haven't finished all of it, but I digested slowly.
He's in an insane asylum. They sent him wherever Gerber's imagination could take him. Wow. That's where he went. Whatever was. I remember him fighting. I think his last cover. Gene Colan come in and starts doing the art on a regular basis because Gene could draw anything. And he was drawing Howard for a while. That the last cover for his regular comic run had him fighting a giant beaver over Niagara Falls, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's what I'm saying. I just do not have enough faith in modern day Marvel cinema that they would actually do Howard right.
To tell you the truth, I honestly thought when he showed up at the end of Guardians 1 that they were going to have him save the Marvel Universe, that they were going to announce they were going to do a Howard the Duck movie called Howard the Duck Saves the Universe. And when the Infinity Gauntlet gets made, he comes running in, takes the gauntlet, snaps his fingers.
No, they wouldn't.
No. I think that
they
Howard's one of those characters they wouldn't do that with,
No. But it would have been fun to see.
The ninja busted out the Beagle Boys.
The
Beagle Boys, yes, sir.
That was a Carl Barks creation too, or?
Oh yeah, he had to have villains. He created the female witch characters, very classic to look at. Magica Dispel, I think her name was.
Magica Dispel, yeah.
Very
and the Beagle Boys, Gyro Gearloose was his invention. The three, actually, I think the three nephews weren't. They were part of Donald at the time. He did create Uncle Scrooge, though.
He did?
Yeah. What gets me about Uncle Scrooge is,
he was kind of a throwaway character, too, but everybody loved him, so he kept bringing him back. It was easy to come up with stories and explain how the ducks could travel from place to place because Scrooge was rich.
Now, was he created for the like, I guess the parody that he did on not the parody,
Christmas Carol? That's what I was about to say, because that's what I thought too. At first,
I am not sure what his first stories are, but it would explain why they decided. I think that at the time they just called him Scrooge because of A Christmas Carol, but because of Scrooge is somebody who's horrible and tight with their money.
Right.
Yeah.
So making a rich uncle, what are you going to call him? Oh, Uncle Scrooge.
Scrooge McDuck.
See,
Yeah.
and what I remember is growing up, like George probably does, was growing up with the Christmas Carol that used to come on every year, and so you had Scrooge, and I thought, well, so wait, when they came out with DuckTales, I'm like, so what do you mean to tell me that they take Scrooge, Mr. Scrooge, and they're going to make a TV show out of it?
Yeah,
I thought too. Yeah, that's what I thought.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm trying to look it up now. When did that come out?
Late 80s, early 90s, somewhere around there.
What-
Because I was young when it came out.
Yeah.
I remember
DuckTales?
Mickey's Christmas Carol is called, right?
Yeah, 83.
But a Christmas Carol is an eternal story. It's been around for decades.
Oh, yeah.
I was
a
way
century.
off.
Yeah.
At least
no,
a century
Wait,
and a
they used
half.
to play
almost.
it every year. They used to play it every year.
Yeah.
It was one of those things like Charlie Brown and Garfield. I don't think had a Christmas special, but he had a Halloween special.
Rudolph, just like Rudolph.
Yeah.
Rudolph,
So
right.
you'd always see that, and it was like, what? But from what I gather, is Scrooge was created, of course, obviously years before that, and didn't even really have to do with the Christmas Carol, unless they did it in the comic, and I don't know about.
Right.
Hang on.
I
checking
always,
him up
I
on
always thought
Wikipedia.
that even if they created him before that, they figured, hey, we got a character called Scrooge. Let's just do a Christmas Carol and call it, Mickey's Christmas Carol.
That's what I'm thinking, right? I mean, it makes sense, and he was exactly the
No,
character.
they didn't create him for the cartoon. He was created by Carl.
Before,
Carl
right.
created him. Yeah.
1947, he was created.
Go
Wow,
Scrooge is a Disney
47.
comic book series. Scrooge McDuck started in 4-Color Comics 398. Duckburg. It was first published in 4-Color Comics March of 1952.
Jeez.
A spinoff of the popular Donald Duck series. Oh, that's the first Uncle Scrooge comic. He was around in Donald Duck for a long time before that.
So he's been around for 73 years.
Ongoing,
Wow.
it's been
70
Disney Gemstone all over the
76,
place.
something like that.
52 to 84 for the title. Number of issues was 456, including 3 issues of 4-Color Comics.
Wow.
Created by Carl Barks, Tony Strobe, Vic Lockman, Phil Delara, Jack Manning. There's a list of creators. Pete Alvarado, Gene Jeppels, Don Rosma. Oh, that's the talent that's worked on Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge stories.
Yeah.
I think what appealed to people about DuckTales was because you had a character. The Scrooge was just a greedy character.
Yeah.
But he ended up getting a hold of the nephews. Well, getting a hold of them. He got left with the nephews. Donald decides to go off and serve his country or whatever. And they were having Donald on there for a while.
Yeah.
Show up. They grab him or whatever on an adventure. But then eventually Donald would just show up very, very randomly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you saw this guy who was just this greedy tycoon come to accept family and really care about the nephews and stuff. So
yeah. Well, and then they gave him that villain. What was his name? Glongold? I forget.
The Scottish guy.
Scotsman. Yeah. It was like his arch enemy because he, they were always
right. I
for the
think it's
money.
Glongold.
Glongold.
Glongold. Flintheart Glongold. That's it.
Yeah.
Gloom Gold. I always thought that was Gloom Gold. Flintheart Gloom Gold.
Yeah.
Gyro Gearloose, Gladstone Gander, Emily Quackfaster, and Bridgetta McBridge. That's the family. Among the adversaries who make repeat appearances are the Beagle Boys, Magica Dispel, John D. Rocker Duck, and Flintheart Gloom Gold.
John D. Rocker Duck. I don't remember that one.
I don't either. Not right offhand. Uncle Scrooge is one of the core titles of the Duck universe. Yeah.
Oh, Rocker Duck. Okay, he must be like Rockefeller. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nope, I got that. Nope, that's not right.
DuckTales, late 80s.
Here we go.
By Barks, published in.
I don't. He must not have been in the. I don't think he was in DuckTales.
Oh, maybe he's like in the new DuckTales. Maybe
it looks like
Was it?
But
it sounds like something that Don Rosema might have created. Made his first appearance in the Donald Duck story Christmas on Bear Mountain as a curmudgeonly man who decides to test Donald and his nephews to see if they are worthy of inheriting his wealth. Barks found the character and his wealth a useful springboard for stories and reused him a number of subsequent Donald Duck one-shot adventures and 10-pagers appearing in Walt Disney's comics and stories. Then by 52, the popularity of the character convinced Dell to give Scrooge a tryout as a lead character in the seminal Only a Poor Old Man in Dell's 4-color anthology series, the story Barks expert Michael Barner has termed a masterpiece. After 2 further 4-color appearances, Scrooge was granted his own title, starting with issue number 4, counting the tryout issues as 1 through 3. Back then, numbers didn't mean much to the publishers, and that a lot of the numbers just continued from previous series.
It amazes me though, because for us, DuckTales was such a huge part of I know my youth,
of your cartooning youth,
of my cartooning youth. Yeah. So and to think something. Because it's not. I don't know. You wouldn't. If somebody threw that to you, oh, we're going to do a cartoon about a greedy duck.
Yeah,
greedy old duck. You're like, nobody's going to buy that one.
Right, exactly. Meanwhile, I was tuning in every day to watch this freaking guy jump into his freaking big ass tower with all those gold coins and dive and swim in his freaking. You know what I mean? Like,
did you ever
swimming in his money bin? Yeah.
Did you ever see the one with the Beagle? Was it the Beagle Boys? They get in, because they were always going after his money bank, right? And then they try to do the dive, and it's like for some odd reason, Scrooge Mcduck has the superpower that he could swim through gold.
Only one that can swim, right? Yes, that is so.
What is
funny.
that?
It's that cartoon logic that it's kind of flexible with reality,
right? But I tried to watch the new one. I just couldn't get into it.
The voices.
A lot of people liked it.
Yeah, the voices got me. I couldn't get
Huey, Dewey, and Louie sound a certain way to me.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
Yeah, see, I was like, damn, I can't get past these voices. The animations were great. Like, I didn't mind the style of the animation. It was just those voices, man. I couldn't, I just couldn't get to it. Like, what's the name? Webigail sounded different, and
they all sound.
Mrs. Beakley, like all of them. They just, You
want to add that? We can add that real quick if you want to.
That was just sent to me by Cameron.
Oh, cool.
Cameron Christopher.
Uh-oh, we lost it.
That's all right. It's coming back.
All right.
There it is.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
That's done by No Coffee.
Wow.
Is the artist on that. It's kind of a modernization, a more anthropomorphic version of
Scrooge. Is that supposed to be Pluto? I guess that's Pluto.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, it looks like Pluto.
Pluto looks like he got into a fight.
Is that a scar over his eye?
Yeah, Pluto.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it looks like a scar there.
Scrooge might have been doing some dog fight there.
Trying to make him look more badass. Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know. It almost looks like a Scarface version.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Seriously.
But I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and take a couple of bumps.
Yeah,
and we'll come back. Huh?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna take a couple of bumps, and then we'll come back and we'll see what people rank as their top favorite ducks.
Oh.
Let's see. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Be right back.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the craze. If you are an independent, catch the craze. Making moves on your own, catch the craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the craze. Join the movement, catch the craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the craze.
Now on Sunday mornings, longtime independent comics creator Randy Zimmerman brings to you a podcast that talks about the lighter and more whimsical side of comics, the fun side of comics. That's right. Sunday Funnies is back Sunday morning, 9 a.m. on the Raging 2 YouTube channel and on certain Facebook pages. Check it out, won't you? It's special guests, great talk, and a lot of fun as we work to put the fun back in funny books. See you there.
All right. Also, we'd like to let you know if you have a campaign going and you want your books to go out not only safe, but in style, make sure you can go over there and save 5% on your next Gemini mailer order. All you have to do is use that coupon code RAGIN2, and that'll get you 5% off. I know I like getting Geminis. That's just me, you know. But also, head over to Facebook, like our pages, Dispatches from Outside the Box. I'll probably put something up there eventually. You can have, if you do have any questions about ducks or any other kind of anthropomorphic animal, we'll be more than happy to take it. Just send the questions to dispatches from outside the box at gmail.com. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and share and hit the bell icon and shout it from the rooftops to go ahead and subscribe to Raging 2 Broadcast Network while you at it. And it would be very much appreciated. We always like to add to the family. So let's see here if I can pull this up real quick. Probably should. So this is from Ranker. So this we know this is legit, right?
Right. Ranker.
Ranker. So let's see. So we see Donald Duck is number 1 over Daffy.
Oh wow.
I think so. I think we need to. That doesn't seem right to me. And they've got to be tied, right?
Yeah, I'm a total Daffy fan, so nah, he needs to be number 1.
Well, I think, in all honesty, we see Daffy and stuff now more than we see Donald anymore, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what bothered me about Donald? Like, you never understand what the heck he was saying, dude. Like, I just that really. I'm like, why doesn't you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I'm with you, Mitch. I think Daffy for me is probably over Donald.
And again, you go over on Disney Plus, and there's a whole set of Mickey Mouse shorts that are based on the golden age characters.
Oh yeah,
because they had to copyright those again anyway. They're about to hit public domain with Steamboat Willie. But if you sit and watch those Mickey Mouse cartoons, each one's maybe 8 to 10 minutes long. All of them are just amazing, and a lot of that humor isn't meant for kids, and they're well worth your watching. And the Donald over there is even more curmudgeon-y, I guess you would say, than what he's been in most of the other cartoons.
Well, you kind of go back and you look at the ones that are featuring his nephews. And it's like, yeah, they're mischievous and everything, but Donald's just like a stick in the mud. Like
that was back when everybody had to have a sidekick too, because it softened up the characters and made them more family friendly. You know, Mickey had a couple of nephews that ran around during that period. Batman had Robin. All of the kid sidekicks popped up in superheroes about that time as well.
But now Donald also had a couple of run-ins with Chip and Dale, huh?
Oh, he did?
On animated,
Yeah. In fact, that might be where Chip and Dale came from.
You're right.
I'm pretty sure you're right. They came off of a Donald Duck cartoon originally, and then they spun them off on their own.
Yeah.
Because nothing's more aggravating to Donald than anything.
Well, what was that? Wasn't Tailspin a spinoff? I mean, the pun, off of Launchpad, like just Launchpad had his own show. They gave him his own show, wasn't it? Wasn't it Tailspin, or what was the show?
No, Tailspin was the Jungle Book.
Oh no! It was Darkwing Duck. He went into Darkwing Duck, right?
Yeah. Well, but you know what? There's a whole thing about that too, because recently, I don't know. Well, I say recently, a couple of years ago, somebody came out and said Darkwing Duck is not the same universe as Scrooge McDuck, as DuckTales, and it's like, really? Because there's a couple of characters.
I mean,
why have the same characters if they're not within the same universe?
Exactly.
It didn't make any sense. In fact, I vividly remember when before coming out with Darkwing Duck. I think I really honestly want to say they were going to give Launchpad McQuack his own show. Because he was such a huge character for DuckTales.
Yeah.
You know, any landing you can walk away from is a good one. And so and he caught on really well. I really want to say they were going to give him his own show. I can't.
I think there was some talk that they were going to give him one.
Yeah.
But somehow they ended up diverting and deciding to do Darkwing Duck and have him as Darkwing Duck's sidekick.
Okay.
Which was great as far as I'm concerned, you know. But I think Launchpad was a way to pull people over to see Darkwing.
Right.
Because you're talking, we gotta I mean, what's the deal with Darkwing? I love Darkwing, obviously. But what's the deal? Darkwing, we're gonna have a duck that's like, he's really like the Shadow. He's very like like Batman, but he's really more like the Shadow.
Yeah, the hat, the suit, the mask.
Yeah.
So we're gonna.
Well, Shadow had a couple of unique features about him. He had the twin Colts that he would shoot on a regular basis, and he could cloud men's minds.
Yeah, but Darkwing had the gas gun. That's
right.
You have the plunger on it.
That's right.
Well, you know, safe for kids.
No, he was it was like a grappling hook kind of plunger or whatever the case was.
Yeah.
It was like an all-purpose weapon, more or less.
Yeah.
Let's
He even had he had the car, like he had like the Batmobile, you know what I mean? Like he had that.
Oh yeah. It was he was kind of Batman was kind of the Shadow, you know. Again,
especially the early days, Batman, in the first year's worth of Detective Comics, he was essentially a ripoff of the Shadow.
Oh,
right,
I would
right,
argue.
true,
I would
true,
argue more or less.
True, yeah.
Well,
that sounds about right.
his origins come from the Shadow. Joker, especially, is from a couple of Shadow stories.
Yeah.
That Bill Finger, who was writing the majority of those stories back then, was really into pulp fiction, and especially the Shadow.
Oh yeah.
You saw that comment from Joe D?
Yeah, let's put it back up on here right now.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Darkwing was brought into the DuckTales universe recently. The main writer of Darkwing stated that Launchpad and Darkwing was not the same Launchpad in DuckTales. It was a parallel universe.
Interesting.
My question on that is this. When did they decide that was the case?
Probably at the start. Now that once Marvel threw everybody together in the Avengers, everybody has a shared universe.
Everybody's got a parallel.
I think what it came down to is they were going to do it, and there was probably some kind of complication, and no, we're not going to bring DuckTales over to Darkwing.
They wanted to make it two different entities so that they can merchandise them separately.
Yeah,
were they on? Weren't they also on separate channels?
Well, it all used to be about the money. Remember, all the corporations used to do all of this stuff in order to make as much money as possible in as many different directions as they possibly could.
Oh yeah.
But I thought it was part of the Disney Afternoon.
It was the same. The only thing that I can remember that was a Disney show that was on a different channel. Although, now that you say that, Mitch, it did come on Disney Afternoon, but I want to say they had it on separately on Saturday on some channels too.
Oh yeah, maybe.
But Gargoyles was one that was a Disney cartoon.
Oh yeah,
but it didn't come part of the Disney Afternoon.
I think that was more syndicated because there were some markets that didn't play Gargoyles at all. Yeah.
So number 3 is Scrooge Mcduck.
Scrooge.
Which okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Daisy, I don't understand that one at all.
Daisy, no.
Well, Daisy, especially lately, has had a big part in, along with Minnie on the Disney kid shows.
Okay,
that's true. You have the new Mickey Mouse clubhouse or whatever they had.
Yes, that's it.
That's true.
And the racer, they've got one where they're all driving.
I remember that.
Their own little race cars. Yeah.
When you don't have kids that age, it's hard to keep up with.
I got grandkids that age, so I've sat through a couple of episodes like that.
This one doesn't make sense.
No. I have no idea who that even is.
That is a Pokemon. That is a Pokemon.
Oh,
no,
that explains a lot.
That does not count. So okay, so Darkwing. Okay. Here's what I don't understand. You separate Huey to Louie. And not only that,
how do you do that?
Wait, because
should all be one.
Separated Huey and Louie. But look where Dewey's at. First, you got to go with Webby.
What?
Launchpad. And then Dewey.
Then Dewey.
What happened? They're like blue. What happened?
And really,
It's
is
that picture.
Launchpad a duck or a pelican?
Good
He
stuff.
looks like a pelican to me.
I'm saying,
I think he's a duck with a big chin.
Ah,
yeah, I think,
Maybe.
yeah, I'm going to say that's probably the case. But he always favored a pelican to me too.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think you're right, Mitch. I think they were just kind of giving that bravado
Yeah.
look to it.
Yeah, right. He gave him the chin, the chiseled chin, you know?
But why would you put Webby before Launchpad? No, we're going to change that now. No.
Webby. Wow.
Webby.
Webbigill.
So,
Interesting.
but here we get down there. Of course,
There's Gizmo.
Gizmo,
There he is.
Right. which is now here's the thing. Gizmo Duck. What was the nerdy duck's name again? I cannot remember.
Oh, it was the creator of him.
Randy said it.
Yeah, he did. What was the name? What was
For
the name
who?
of that?
The nerdy
Barks?
duck. Barks. Yeah, Barks created it.
Yeah.
It was the nerdy duck. He said it earlier.
He was one of the original characters he
With
created.
the
But Gyro?
Gyro.
Gearloose?
Gyro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gyro
Gyro
Gearloose,
Gearloose.
yeah.
Yep. He created him.
Now, was he created? He was Gyro, wasn't he?
Was he Gyro?
In DuckTales.
I thought he was.
I think he was, but again, this is not the same Gizmo Duck that was in Darkwing Duck, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody had said that. Gizmo Duck crossed to Darkwing Duck. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, remember you had the Justice Ducks. When you had Gizmo, you had Darkwing, Morgana, and
Wow.
you had the duck that was turned into a Stegosaurus, and the fish. For some reason, I don't know if the fish was a duckfish or what. I can't remember what her name was. Because what's crazy about that, if you get, and I'm going to let y'all in on how dorky I am. If you get the volumes, like if you get volume 1 that came out a couple of years back, they didn't even have the first episodes on there.
No?
No, but you had all the Justice Ducks, and he was fighting Negaduck. You didn't even have the
Negaduck.
episode where Negaduck showed up.
Oh.
Like it was like you can get the Negaduck episode to the next one, and it was I don't even know if you could even say it was the same Negaduck. Honestly, it was messed up. But Ludwig von Drake, this is a duck that doesn't get much play. I think he was probably a Carl Barks too, huh?
He's a nutty professor. I don't remember that being a Barks creation. I do remember him being in a lot of the early Wonderful World of Disney
Yes,
shows as an introductory character. Suppose I can look that up on Wikipedia as well and see.
Of course, the Affleck duck is on here.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
rest in peace, Gilbert
Gilbert
Gottfried.
Godfrey.
Yeah.
Plucky
Plucky,
Duck.
I
Wow.
forgot
You
about him.
forgot about Plucky, right? Yeah.
Plucky.
Rubber Ducky. Wow.
He go down the hole.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Plucky. I think Plucky kind of heard back to that zany Daffy
Yeah.
that was there. He was still a little temperamental, but I think he was probably a little more zany than Daffy Duck.
Ludwig was created by Walt Disney, Milt Kahl, and Ward Kimball for the Wonderful World of Color back in 1961.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Been around.
It's a paternal uncle of Donald. He was first introduced as the presenter of the singer of the Spectrum song in the
Right,
cartoon
with the
and Adventure in Color.
Yeah.
Part of the first episode of Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color on NBC.
Wow.
And how Walt Disney created him was like, we need something to happen here. Oh, we got this, Walt. This is gonna
We need a Professor Duck. Yeah.
yeah, right.
He's described as a scientist, lecturer, psychologist, and world traveler. The character displayed his expert knowledge on a variety of subjects in 18 episodes of the classic anthology series, as well as on a number of Disneyland records. Paul Frees was the original voice of Ludwig von Drake. After Frees retired from the role, the character was briefly voiced by Walter Edmondson, and since '87, he's been voiced by Corey Burton.
All right, Joe's here to set us straight, guys.
Ludwig has also appeared in numerous Disney comic stories.
Gyro is not Gizmo Duck. Gyro created the armor and the account for Scrooge became Gizmo Duck because the word blatherskite. He said, I believe the character name was Fenton something. That sounds right.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I think he's right.
Yeah.
No, number 16 is Rubber Ducky.
Rubber Ducky. Yeah.
Hey, Rubber Ducky. Yeah.
Which is, I never would have thought Rubber Ducky, but that just, again, this is the overall of ducks.
He's so fine.
Rubber Ducky, you're the one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Nega Duck.
Nega Duck, okay.
Magic
to spell.
Now, I was thinking of Hanna-Barbera earlier, and I was like, I can't
Yankee Doodle.
Duck character and Hanna-Barbera. And then this popped up, and I was like, oh, right. I remember this character.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
Vaguely. You don't see those old Hanna-Barbera cartoons anymore.
Nah, you
don't. I don't even know who owns them.
That's all part of Turner. It's all part of HBO.
Yeah.
No, I believe it's all part of Warner.
HBO came out with a blasphemous Jellystone show.
He was part of Laugh Olympics as well.
Ming Ming Duckling.
Ming,
oh my gosh.
Duckling.
There's Howard
Patka.
And you got to stick Goslin all the way down. I'm sorry. I think I might have had a crush on Goslin. I'm not positive.
Goslin. It's a wonderful leaf. Interesting.
Now you want to talk about character. Now she was voiced by not Nancy Cartwright, the same one that voiced Chucky on Rugrats. I cannot remember her name right off.
Not E.G. Daily. She did Tommy.
Yeah, I cannot remember her name, but the voice was just so perfect. Huh?
Christine Cavanaugh. Yeah.
Of course it was.
Yes.
She had such a unique voice for those type of characters. Like
but very strong in this house.
Oh my gosh.
Furry is strong in this house. As well it should be.
Giganta? I don't
know. Is it?
I don't know. Probably because of course she's been gone for a while now. She passed, but and of course there's our Count Duckula.
There it is.
Morgana. Wade Duck.
Wade
Duck. I really kind of forgot about Wade. That was my favorite character on that show. Was Wade because he had the life preserver or the lifesaver or whatever with a version of himself on it. So whenever he made the face, so with the little character. But there's Flint Heart Glom Gold, Quacker Jack, Eric
Duckman.
That's a name I haven't heard in some time.
Wow.
I own that whole show on DVD.
That was Jason Alexander, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that when it came on.
What? Okay, so
U.S. Acres. Wow. Yeah.
So the premise of that show, and it came on what, TNT, I think, wasn't it? TNT or TBS?
Yeah.
Duckman USA.
Was it USA?
Yeah.
I knew. Well, let's say it was cable. I didn't have cable. So what exactly was the premise of Duckman? Was it?
He is a widowed private investigator, and his business partner is, I forgot the name of him, but he's a pig who's based on Joe Friday. So
right.
and Duckman is he for some reason he has to after his wife died, his sister-in-law moved in to help him raise the kids, and most of the show is him and her basically fighting, and him being a private investigator, he'd go on these cases and stuff. Like once he was in like an insane asylum. He has to go like undercover a lot. And one thing that I always liked about him, for some reason, it's a weird thing to like, but his eyes are on his glasses.
Yeah.
So when he takes his glasses off, he just has that blank, that blank face with a beak.
Even his freaking eyebrows. Look at his eyebrows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not even on anything. They're just
No,
there.
it's just floating. That's freaking.
Yeah, it was a pretty popular. What, about 4 seasons?
Yeah.
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 It was a pretty popular show.
And he had like an older son that was a complete idiot, and he had 2 younger sons that were Siamese. They were or conjoined. It's probably the best term.
Yeah.
But they were like one body with 2 heads,
Oh shoot.
and like one head was
Oh,
a
you
jock,
talking
the other
about-
head was a
yeah.
nerd. You know.
Oh man.
I'm surprised you don't see more. I haven't seen. When I was putting together that montage, I came across Duckman. I was like, oh right, Duckman. I remember Duckman.
Right.
Duckman was a big thing because he was still doing. Jason Alexander was still doing Seinfeld at the same.
All right.
At the
That's
same
right.
time.
He was okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was one of the first cartoons I saw that had like obviously strong adult humor.
Mm.
Like Duckman was a skirt chaser, and there'd be being an adult, watching back, there's all these sex jokes. And it wasn't like Rocco's Modern Life where it went over the kids' heads.
Yeah.
Right.
It was, blatantly obvious, adult style toilet humor.
I remember that it wasn't exactly. It wasn't exactly family friendly.
Oh, no.
They were
No, it
probably
wasn't.
trying to capture the South Park and Simpsons crowd.
Well, this was way before. This
This
way before
was
South Park,
like
but yeah,
93 or
Simpsons
4.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, this was definitely before Simpsons. In fact, I'll even say that South Park was probably influenced a lot by Duckman.
It could have been.
But of course, Bushroot.
Bushroot.
I have no idea who that is.
Tell it.
Baby Huey. Oh my gosh.
Baby Huey. Yep.
Dinky
From
Duck, huh?
from one of the greatest non-PC comic publishers of all time, Harvey.
Harvey Comics. I remember he had a cartoon that used to come on in the morning when I was a kid.
Yes.
It was probably a reruns.
Yeah.
But
Oh no, definitely reruns.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
theatrical cartoons that they put into as a TV show.
right. Okay, yeah. So
There's Dinky Duck
Dinky
who is
Duck.
Dinky Duck? This one
I don't know who Dinky Duck is.
from the same people that brought you Heckle and Jekyll and Deputy Dog.
Oh, really?
That was Dinky Duck.
Huh.
He's just a duck.
It's just a duck.
That's how-
Duck.
And of course, we're getting into now. They're getting into more and more. So okay, so we can agree, Rubber Duck.
Rubber Duck. Of
Rubber
course,
duck.
you need to vote that up. Vote that up for me, will you?
All right, I'll vote that.
Rubber-
24% of people agree.
Rubber Duck is from DC. It's part of Captain Carrot and the Amazing Zoo Crew.
Oh shoot.
Captain Carrot.
There's a duck that stretched.
Oh wow.
So
And there
Captain
was a
Carrot
turtle that
Carrot-
ran fast, and a cat that performed magic, a dog, poodle, Yankee Poodle, that
Poodle.
that had magnetic powers. She could attract with one hand and push away with the other hand. All led by Captain Carrot. It's
Oh,
Alley
nice.
Cat Dabra
That's awesome.
used to perform magic, and an Alley Cat.
Oh wow, cool.
They actually had a cyber frog on there and an
Really?
armadillo. Yeah. As
Arm-
villains. Yeah.
Irwin the Disco Duck. You might have got to. He was at the very beginning.
I don't know. His name was
Okay.
Irwin. No.
I didn't know that either. But I remember this song because my kids used to have a dancing duck. And this thing would go off all the time and it would wiggle and it would be disco duck. And it's like, what? This is the real song. Why?
Play that wonderful earworm right into your brain. Yeah.
Oh man.
What? What is that? Mallard Fillmore. I thought for some odd reason I thought
Mallard Fillmore is a syndicated
Oh.
political cartoon
Huh.
I don't know why. I thought it
that
was
some
Fillmore.
newspapers run on their editorial page. It's like it's commentary like Doonesbury.
Okay.
Right. In fact, I've gotten those two confused before. Because I guess
Doonesbury
the
and Mallard
politi-
Fillmore.
Yeah, probably because of the political nature. When I was younger.
It's along the same lines as Shoe. They had a eagle that was a reporter that was Shoe for the longest time. That's syndicated through the newspapers. Ed the Duck. No idea who that is.
I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Never heard of him.
No.
Elvira Nitty, Dean Tightbill.
Digging deep.
This is a
Dean
Darkwing
Tight.
Duck character here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's
Wow.
I'll tell you what.
We should add Drake Star on there. I'll send him a picture. It'd be great. Start him off at number 50 and see where it
I'm
goes.
gonna have to start add Wonder Duck to that one too.
There you go.
Yeah,
that
there
too.
you go.
Absolutely.
Get over there and vote that up. Speaking of which.
Oh, look at you. You got it up
There it is now.
Yeah. All right. And you funded in an hour. I think it was less than an hour, huh, George?
Oh, dude, like it was such a nightmare to to launch this thing that night. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it was nuts. Is it still up on the screen? I can't even tell.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, it was funded in around that time. We couldn't get it up. We couldn't get it launched. We couldn't get it up. So Daphne came in and saved the day. She saved the day. She got us. She got us launched that night. Yeah. So thank you, Daphne. And and then we got the project we love, and I was like,
awesome.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Funded in an hour, you better have the project.
All right. So Wonder Duck. So basically, the story itself, it's about this Dr. Muse is his name, and he's a scientist who created Wonder Duck. Who's this guy right here? Has gotten beat up, but he created him as almost like an army of ducks he wanted to create. And what happened was he decided that he was going to sell the product to the wrong people, to the people who were trying to invade his planet. And so when he gets caught, he decides, I got to get rid of the evidence, and he throws it out into space, and Wonder Duck is born. Now, this particular chapter of the story is chapter 5. So what you have there is the graphic novel, which has chapters 1 through 4. And then this is chapter 5. So this is the continuation of the story of Wonder Duck. And
very well put together.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And it revolves around Dr. Muse. So the title is Wonder Duck Chapter 5, Nothing to Muse. And basically, it's just the story of why Dr. Muse decided to, betray his people. And so he's been incarcerated by Emperor Zundar here. And he's decided, I'm not letting you go because, you did this horrible thing, and I'll decide what I'm going to do with you later. And so the story continues from there. What I did with the campaign is I gave you guys a little recap. So what I did was almost like what cartoons do or what some of these shows do nowadays, previously on The Adventures of Wonder Duck. And this is going to be part of the first 2 pages inside the book. So it's basically, if you've never picked up the graphic novel, this is essentially just a quick recap of what's happened. So Dr. Muse creates the suit. They come in to arrest him. He gets rid of it. Duke Dullbeak, my man right here, gets hit in the head. He becomes Wonder Duck, and he gets incarcerated by Emperor Zundar. Now, there's a conflict between 2 planets that they're going to have to defend, and they're really in dire straits. And so the story starts from here. So, and now we have the preview pages of the book. And the artists are from the Philippines. Yeah. I hired them a few years ago to do the book, and they've done an amazing job. They actually have, it's called Studio 9 Lives, and they actually have worked on Castlevania, the cartoon. They've done some work for them. Cool. So they're really, really talented, awesome group of guys. They put this together for me, and this is going to be a 24-page book. The campaign is to print the book out and get it into your hands. So I decided to do this 5-page preview so you guys can kind of see some of the artwork and some of the stuff that they've done for the book. But so it's just 5 pages. And then I did. No, but go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
No, I was saying you can play your video if you want to.
Oh yeah. The music on the video. Yeah, let me see if I can play it. Yeah, check it out. So I'll preface this by saying Morgan Quaid, who's another indie creator, put this track together for me, and it cracks me up.
Super battle suit is discharged.
Yeah, so big shout out to Morgan Quaid, man. He cracked me up with this song, with the quack quack in the background. But yeah, so he did that for me, and I decided, you know what, let me throw it in here. It's kind of cool. Actually, Daphne suggested putting it on the thing, so she's really helped me out with this thing. But let me see.
Yeah, she has some experience with the.
Oh yeah, just a little bit, just a few. So all right, so we've been talking about ducks, and we've been talking about growing up as kids, watching these cartoons and all this other stuff. So what I decided to do was I linked up with Comic Books for Kids, not-for-profit organization out in Chicago, and what they do is they provide comic books for kids in hospitals and cancer centers. So what I decided to do was I decided to create a tier where we would send out 5 comics to the hospitals and to the kids, and then you would get one, and you can choose from any one of the 3 covers that I have on the book. So you can choose from the one that comes with the book. You can choose the one that I did, which is this one here that I drew and put together, or you can choose between the homage cover, which is issue 300 of Amazing Spider-Man. We did an homage cover for that. So you get to choose which one you want, and we sent 5 copies out to the kids. So that's a tier that I really like. So I did that one. Hopefully, and I've gotten quite a few backers for that one. So that's awesome, because we're going to be sending a lot of comics out to the kids. And if you guys wanted to do anything with them, obviously Comic Books for Kids, here's the website, here's the link, and you guys can check that out. The way I set up, I keep doing that. The way I set up the campaign as well is that I threw in the stretch goals just so you guys could see what you're getting if we hit certain milestones. And so this one has already been unlocked. Thank you to everyone who already unlocked it. So it's a print basically of what Radimus Fink, who's the main villain in the story, wanted to create, which is this army of Wonder Duck suits. And so it looks like he's accomplished his goal, and they're about to go into the city and take it over. So that is that print. This one was done by my friend Samuel Vera. It's an homage to Tony Harris's 2003 cover of Superman. So he did this for me. Yeah, so he did that as an homage cover. So that's still locked. And then this one was done by a great artist. His name is Hector Rodriguez, and it was colored. Yeah, and it was colored by Sean Lee. He hooked it up. And basically, what I'm doing is, for everybody who's watching, if you pledge while I'm on now, I will actually send you guys a print as part of your pledge for the physical tiers. So if you pledge, but you also have to subscribe to the channel. So you guys subscribe to the channel.
There you go. And
you pledge, then I'll send that out to you guys before it's even unlocked. So that's a cool thing that I'm doing for this. And here, my add-ons. If you decide that, hey, you know what, I want one to read and I want one to have, I have physical copies available as add-ons. The 8x10 prints are also available. I have these hollow foil stickers that
cool.
Of Wonder Duck that are also available there. And then I have a trading card of Wonder Duck that's available. It's one of the tiers also, but it's available as an add-on if you guys want. While supplies last, because I'm doing a limited run of about 500. So we'll see how that goes. You can get your own Wonder Duck t-shirt.
Which is a great t-shirt.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. The 88-page graphic novel, you can get a physical copy of it. And I just added the catch-up bundle, which is the catch-up on the first 4 chapters. So I added the digital bundle of the first 4 chapters if you guys want to get that, just to get caught up on the story before you even go in. And then, the rewards. Now, what I did was I created just these images, because sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words. So for $10, you get the digital copy, but the digital copy also comes with all of the prints before they even get unlocked. So you'll get digital prints, all of them, the 8x10 prints. You'll get all of them as part of this whole package here. Or you can just, for $10, you can also get the comic and the digital copy. You will also get, for $20, this is where you start getting the homage cover. You can get the homage cover and the regular cover, so you can put this one away and read this one. And you get an 8x10 print of the cover itself. As we scroll down, this is the cover that I did. I haven't drawn anything in years, but I decided, you know what, it's my book, let me draw a cover. So I did, and this is the cover that I put together. So for the $30, you get all 3 books. and the 8x10 print. So that's included. So all that for $30, you get all of that. For $35, this is the one that I was telling you guys about with the kids. So you can get the 5 issues, A, B, or C covers. You know, obviously they're not all being shown here, but you can get that. The $50 bundle gets you the T-shirt and the graphic novel included, but you also get the trading card and the hollow foil sticker here. So this is again, it's going to be limited, but you get the trading card. And they're all numbered, so it's 1 out of 50, 2 out of 50, depending on what you get. And then the $100 bundle is everything. You get everything for it. I added a USB flash drive because I'm a writer, and sometimes I'm at a library and I don't have my laptop. So I'll just bring my flash drive, plug it in, do my thing, save, and out. So I decided to add a 2 gig one. It's not a lot for maybe not for art, but for writing. You know, if you have just a document in there, you should be able to. You'll be all right. So I added that in there. And then, you know, I got to give a shout out to the collaborators. Here are their links here. And this is just a quick, just a quick summary of who they are. Studio 9 Lives. Joe Holly, who's the artist on the homage cover. He's also an independent artist. I have Alex Rivera, who did who inked over my pencils. Victor Cloya did the coloring on the 2 covers that I have there. Sam did that print. Hector Rodriguez and Sean Lee did that as well. And then just giving a shout out to some of the guys out there, projects you should check out. Sammy's project. Sam's coming out with There's an Alien in My Toilet. Oops, number 2.
Oh my gosh, that quick, huh?
Yeah. May 31st. He's not playing around. Cat and Piggy Girl by Russell Allen. You'll know Russell. Oh, yeah. So make sure you check that out. Yep. That's also another dope campaign again for the kids. And then my man over here, the nebulizer. Brian Rodman's book. So you guys want to check that out.
Anytime we bring up the nebulizer, I need to get my beanie.
yeah. So make sure you check that out. So yeah, just showing some of that stuff off. But yeah, that's the campaign, man. I know I kind of flew through it, but if you have any questions, that's it.
So how far are you taking Wonder Duck? Is it just going to be a continual series? Is it a limited series? Or?
Glad you asked. So basically, the book that you have is I call it the Ferorian Takeover Part 1, and what I'm working on right now is Part 2. So this is Chapter 5. It's going to be a total of 8 chapters. So I'm near the end of that first arc. Now, obviously, it can be an ongoing story because much like DuckTales, you could just write stories about these things for
yeah.
So it can be an ongoing story as long as the money allows. So, but for right now, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on issues 5, 6, 7, and 8. The guys already started working on issue 6. So once this campaign is done, hopefully I'll make enough to kind of just pay off the rest of the stuff. And what I'm doing is, as part of the campaign, and I haven't really mentioned this at all, so this is like an exclusive here on the show. But what I'm doing is, and I'm scrolling up because I want to see. All right, so right now I'm at 65 backers. So for every 25 backers, what I'm doing is, you guys remember Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the golden ticket. So I'm creating these golden tickets. So for every 25 backers, I'm creating a golden ticket that's going to go randomly into a pledger's box, basically. And if you get that ticket, what that does is, in 2023, next year, when this thing should be done by then, Part 2 should be done in the graphic novel. If you find me at any convention, if I'm at any, wherever I'm going to be, come up to me with that golden ticket and I will give you a copy of that Part 2 for free, for back in the campaign. So it's your golden ticket to getting a free graphic novel late next year when I'm done with the book. So for every 25 backers, so right now I'm in the hole for 2. So I got 2 that are going to go in. And as I get to every 25 backers, I will be, putting that randomly into people's, packages when I send them out. So that's part of what we're doing. Yeah.
So the more backers, the more chances you get a golden ticket.
Exactly. So. More chances to get that golden ticket. So you guys want to definitely pledge. And like I said, if you pledge on the show and you subscribe to the show right now, I'm including this unlocked print for everybody. So that's part of the incentive to get everybody on board. And right now, we're doing well, man. I'm extremely happy. I mean, you guys have been really supportive. Everybody who's already pledged, it's been amazing. You guys, thank you so much for having me on the show to be able to do this.
Oh yeah.
And it's been
we had to have you. Oh man, we got to talk about ducks.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
So
yes,
what
that's future holds.
So what can you tell us about the Duty Wonder Duck crossover?
So I've been, it's funny because I've been working on a couple of crossovers. I definitely want to do. There's a lot of indie creators who have a lot of kid friendly stuff, and I actually linked up with a buddy of mine, John Coates, who already drew this. I'm just waiting to get it colored. It's Wonder Duck and the Bionic Caveman, and so that crossover is already in the works. And I'm hoping to have something like that where I'm putting together almost like an anthology of these crossovers in one book. And I definitely want to add Duty in there, and and any other kids friendly obviously character that I can do a crossover with. I'm ready to do that. So
awesome.
yeah, so that's
you heard it here first.
Yeah, so that's in the works, man. I definitely want to do that. Oh, thanks, D.
Already back.
Could call it Wonder Duck Tales.
Wonder Duck Tales. Wow, look at that. You want me to get sued? I love it.
You gotta spell it differently. Tails with an I and a Z.
Well, you can spell it TAILS.
Ah,
yeah.
There you go. That's
and then on the cover, have them all doing the over the shoulder look with their tail up. At the cover.
Oh yeah, just mooning everybody. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so that's what's going on with Wonder Duck, man. I'm excited. I'm happy with the product that I put out, and hopefully everybody else is,
Right. Yeah, so you got to be tired now, huh? I mean, you're just getting started.
Exhausted, bro. Exhausted. I got another show.
Started.
Yeah. Yeah. I got another. We got another show tomorrow that I'm going to be on promoting it. So yeah, I mean, you got to do it. Yeah. This is part of the whole thing,
Yep.
Of course, producers telling you thank you, Rydesco. I hope I'm saying that right. Probably not, because we know how horrible I am with names.
Dwayne, big shout out to him. He also has a book called Blood Sable, and it's actually, he created the character for his son. So I can't wait for you guys to check that out. I'm actually doing the lettering on that book. So big shout out to him. He's an amazing dude. He's got a really cool product. So yeah, that's coming out too.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see here. The ninja seemed to remember old Duckman, so I was kind of seeing, kind of a look at these characters real quick. Just looking at this. Let's see. So
Holy cow, dude! Wow. Oh, there's the one that you were talking about with the two heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, they come up with this kind of stuff, man.
That's
I'm telling
amazing.
But yeah.
Wow.
So let's see. I tell you what, I'm gonna put him on the spot real quick.
If anybody out there knows where you can find those Duckmen streaming, if they're streaming anywhere, let me know in the chat.
No, nice, yeah.
I haven't watched one in a long, long time.
Me neither.
Yeah, I have to go back and watch it. Some of that stuff I remember coming on when I was younger, and I never saw it. I just remembered about it. So let's see.
Yeah, it's great. If you like, kind of raunchy humor, it's great.
Is it like the what was I gonna say? Family Guy? Is it like that, or is it even worse?
Kind of. It's a little more of when C Michael said South Park earlier, that was probably closer, because he does have these two secretaries who are like these cutesy teddy bear creatures, and they're always happy, and whenever he's angry or upset, he kills them. Like he stuffs them in a blender or throws them out the window.
Tell us about the Boger, bitch.
Oh, the Boger, yes.
The Boger.
It's the second installment of the Boger. It's each installment standalone, and the Boger is the god of vengeance. And in Southern Gothic, a small town sheriff is investigating a serial killer who's killing entire black families. And I mean, as he's hunting this the killer down, the Boger shows up and starts killing prominent town citizens.
Wow.
And when the sheriff was a kid, he witnessed a lynching, and he finds out that the both sets of murders are tied to that one incident from his childhood. So as he's trying to stop both killers, he sort of learns to deal with his survivor's guilt that he's dealt with for about 20 years. It's totally not kid friendly.
Do not be fooled. It might sound it. Yeah. So you did everything yourself, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful, man.
Writing, art, lettering,
Awesome.
everything.
Awesome. It's good lettering. Look,
Yes.
George, the lettering that you did on Wonder Dog, man, I meant to tell you, it kind of reminded me, man. That was pretty awesome, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm not a lettering expert, but
Yeah. No, this looks great, dude. Wow.
Yeah,
look
thank
at
you.
that. Whew.
Yes. Yeah, I did a Indiegogo campaign, and now I'm on for the people that missed it on Indiegogo, I now have a Kickstarter up for it. So there's the Boger emerging in the town swamp. He just appeared.
That's cool.
nice, cool,
Really nice.
very cool. So,
Yeah, it's in black and white. It collects the original 5-issue miniseries plus extra content. Whenever I collect stuff into a graphic novel, I try to put extra stuff in there.
right?
In case the people that read the series but want more stuff, they have an incentive to buy it, and the people that didn't read it, get to see a larger story.
Hey, you got to love those character designs and working it out. I personally, when I'm looking at my own character designs, I'm like, I'm not showing anybody this.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
And of course,
nice.
your reward tiers.
$3. I have a $50 retailer tier.
Mhm.
The people that missed the original graphic novel, I have both of them for $40 altogether.
This right here, the way you have it formatted here, reminds me so much of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, that's where the idea came up to format it that way.
That's what
old
comes.
style.
I saw those books in the Ollies the other day, but it was like the
Newer ones?
movie, with the movie version, and I'm like, I can't see. I couldn't see inside of them, so I was like, I'm not buying this without the good art. Forget it. Yes, I don't know if it has a good one in it.
Whenever I'm in a bookstore and I see the editions with the original art, I snatch them up just because.
Oh yeah.
It's not as impactful without the original art. Plus, as popular with the original art as it is, if you don't, find them now, you won't find them. And in case my house burns down, I want backups.
Right. So, George, tell us where we can find you, sir.
Yes, you can find me at get_your_meds EDZ on Instagram. You can also find me on my website at getyourmeds.com. And you'll find me Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays on Catch the Craze. So check that out. Make sure you subscribe. And that's where you can find me.
I know. I was trying to figure out. I was like, I know he's going to go through like 5 or 6 days.
I'm like, damn, we do this much stuff. Yeah.
That's like, so since Sam moved away, y'all kind of do more than you were doing when he was there, right?
I used to just meet up with him maybe twice a week. No, we would meet twice a month, and we record 4 shows, and then we'd have the shows for them. But now that Zoom, with the Zoom and this, and forget it. StreamYard, forget it. Now we do shows like, hey, you want to do a show? Sure, let's go down there.
Like, why not?
Why not?
Spontaneous show. Why not? Awesome. So of course we always like to play the bump over here because it gives us a minute. We kind of bang our heads,
Yeah, no. Hey, listen, not for nothing. The stuff that you sent me is cool, and I love the RAGIN too. Like the way they slow down the beat. I love that. So we play that too. It's cool. It's good stuff.
Oh, yeah. That song's special for RAGIN.
Yes.
It's ingrained in the whole thing.
Oh,
So
it's
you
great.
could. In fact, I had made one without it,
Really?
a channel crawl, and it's not the same. It's not the
No.
same. So we went,
You need it.
we
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah.
So
It's good.
but Meredith had really put her heart and soul to finding that song. It's just we need to find it so we can copyright it, and it's just
okay.
the Ragins thing. But so Mitch, tell us where we can find you at, sir.
Well, you can find me right here at Linktree/Celtic Cross Studios. There you can find my website, my Facebook, my web comics. I mean, basically everything. I'm going to hopefully next week add a T-shirt shop to it.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so there will be that too, in case you're interested in wearing my stuff on your.
That's right. Get that advertisement out there.
Yeah.
All right. And Randy, tell us where
you
can find you.
you can contact me on Facebook. You can find me at the zimcast@gmail.com, where I take and field questions for my show that's on tomorrow night, Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. So here on the RAGIN 2 network. Other than that, there's Sunday morning for the Sunday Funnies, 9 a.m. Hopefully sometime soon we'll have George on to talk about Wonder Duck on the Sunday morning show, where we try to do a lighter and more fun look at comics, try to put the fun back in funny books. That's our goal on the Sunday show. Wednesday nights we get ranty and pissy and talk about the business and every way, shape, or form that you can imagine. But on Sundays we try to have some fun and talk about the passion and the love that we have for this business. So
Absolutely.
hope you catch me there. If not, look for me on Twitter. One of these days, I'll be more of a presence on there.
There you go.
So
there you go. And of course, you can find me at Linktree. C Michael Lanning has everything that you need on there. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm trying to be more present on Instagram. I just started making a little bit more presence on Twitter and Facebook. I'm always over there. And of course, Portfolio. And of course, again, you can catch me back here next Tuesday at 9 Eastern, where we will be talking about B movies with Bocas, Bocas director and writer Jake Estrada. And so I hope you tune in for that.
the Swarm and Attack of the Bee Queen, right? Yeah.
Sure. We'll throw them all out there.
different B movies. All right.
Different B movies. Well, yeah. Not the Jerry Seinfeld one either.
We'll talk about Battle of Beyond the Stars.
Oh, I love that one.
There we go. See, all you got to do is mention. We were on Zimcast last week, and we mentioned Buckaroo Banzai. Luke Stone was there, had no idea what we were talking about.
Oh, Buckaroo Banzai.
He thought I was talking about a cowboy. I don't know
No.
if he's watched it yet or not. I listened to Nerd Bacon. I don't think he mentioned it.
Buckaroo Banzai in the what, fifth dimension or the
Buckaroo Banzai across the I thought it was the eighth dimension. Yeah.
Is it the eighth dimension? I can't remember what
You
it
have
is.
you ever
I just
seen
remember
Buckaroo
Jeff
Banzai,
Goldblum.
George?
Was that?
Have you ever seen Buckaroo Banzai?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you need to look that up, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that
Peter
up.
Well,
Oh.
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow, Peter Weller, Christopher Lloyd, Clancy Brown. It's
Jeff
just it's
Goldblum.
one of those movies that has all of the guy who's Jeff Goldblum is
Jeff
in it.
Goldblum. Yeah.
Right at the start, and it's literally Doc Savage. If you're familiar with that property, Doc Savage. It's Doc Savage in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah,
Buckaroo Banzai is played, but Doc Savage is Buckaroo Banzai. He's the Doc Savage equivalent, and he's a surgeon. He's a scientist. He's a rock and roller.
I
He
think
goes
he breaks
around
the
with
sound barrier at the very
Yeah.
beginning.
Oh no, he drives through a mountain. Literally,
That's right, through the mountain. That's right. That's
drives
right.
through a mountain, which is actually, I guess he vibrates into another dimension and back out. Well, when they tried an experiment earlier, aliens came through back in the 30s. And so now he's having to deal with that problem as well, because they figured they've been trying to find a way to go home. So once he drives to the mountain, they figured that's the way to get back. Get back.
What is it, Buckaroo Banzai?
Buckaroo
Yeah.
Banzai. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
gonna
look for
that shit
Peter
up.
Weller,
I'm
RoboCop
gonna
Peter
look that up.
Weller. You'll be.
Yeah,
It's
I'm gonna look that up.
it's one of those movies that once you watch it once, you have to watch it again. Right after Ellen Barkin is in it at the height of her beauty. She's just beautiful,
Oh, yeah,
beautiful woman. And it's such a great odd film because it starts off running, and you just have to stay with it and just kind of sit there and watch it and try to follow it. There's aliens and Lithgow said it was the best, most fun acting job he ever had in his life.
I bet just the way he acts in it.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. Yeah, I gotta check it out.
Emerald Lizardo, I think is his name in the film.
You know,
he plays a lizard-like alien in a human skin.
Yeah.
So
Like
Christopher Lloyd has a great line. "It's not my planet, monkey boy."
Oh God.
It's just hilarious. It's got a lot of great moments in it.
It's you know, Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith was in talks to make another one of those, to remake Buckaroo Banzai, but it's one of those ones that
it just wouldn't be the same.
You probably could. Yeah, I was thinking there are some things you just can't remake, man.
It was like John Carter at Disney. Once they did the movie, they didn't. The guys who had it had no idea how to market it, so it might have hit the theater for 2 weeks and then got yanked.
Right.
But it's phenomenal. Once you watch it, you'll sit there and go, "How come I never saw this before?" Because it's right up there with all of the great movies of the 80s, and, you know, Predator. Even it's better than Howard the Duck.
This is like, well, it's pre The Fly, right? Before.
I think it was right around that same era, that same period. Yeah. But it is such an 80s film, but it is such a unique movie that you'll sit there and watch it a couple times because you'll go, that was a crazy ride. And it was Christie Shinn, I think she was on, and says she used to catch it late at night on the movie channels.
Oh golly!
And try to get altered in some way in order to truly enjoy the movie, whether it was drunk or high or whatever. But it's one of those kind of films. You know, they're running through a warehouse and there's a watermelon hooked up to these big wires, and they're like going, "What was that for?" And then they never mention it again.
So it was 84.
84?
Buckaroo was?
Right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater twice, so that's because I knew it wasn't going to last very long, and it was such a crazy film.
Yeah, cool.
But you know, anything with Peter Weller in it's watchable.
Oh my gosh!
But Weller and Lithgow and Goldblum and just
Christopher Lloyd at that.
And there's a ton of actors in there that you swear you've seen before. It's one of those guys from that thing, just all through that movie.
Yeah.
So The Fly was in 86. So yeah. So
it was 2 years later.
2 years later.
Yeah.
They saw him in Buckaroo, and they said, "Hey, we got
to get this guy." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You should go find Jeff Goldblum in a Western movie he did. Oh my gosh, he was like the bad guy.
Silverado.
Was it Silverado?
85.
Yeah, did you ever see the horror movie The Sentinel with him in it?
Oh, it sounds
he plays
really
a photographer. I like The Sentinel, but it's one of those, you know, love it or hate it movies. But for some reason, they dub over Jeff Goldblum. So you have Jeff Goldblum, and his voice is just, yeah. So you're expecting, Jeff Goldblum, but you get this deep voice for some reason when he talks. It's hilarious.
They must have felt his voice was a little wimpy sounding or something. It's like
Probably,
watching Mad Max and not hearing Mel Gibson in the lead.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Well,
seeing him but not hearing him.
Let me go ahead and dismiss everybody. We can talk about this next week, guys. Again, thank you for coming. I'm going to leave you with our word for the week.
Here is a little peninsula, and here is a viaduct leading over to the mainland. Viaduct. I'm all right. How are you? I say here is a little peninsula, and here is a viaduct leading over to the mainland. All right, viaduct. I'm not playing Ask Me Another. I say that's a viaduct. All right, viaduct. It's what that viaduct. Why no chicken? I don't know why no chicken. I'm a stranger here myself. All I know is that it's a viaduct. You try to cross over there in a chicken, and you'll find out viaduct.